Hey guys, it's Hunter. Welcome back to another episode of ASKgufish. No big intro or channel update this time. I'm about to head out to go see Dragged Under, so don't forget to join our Discord if you haven't already. It's where I pull all the questions from, and it's just a fun time. Smack that like button, because my editor Jordan has been slightly overwhelmed recently with the amount of content he's pumping out for you guys, and every like gives him life. Plus, it actually really helps the channel. And with that, let's jump into your questions. V asks, thoughts about Malia of Bring Me the Horizon possibly becoming a Jackson artist and leaving Epiphone. Dude, this week has been all about Jackson, but Malia hasn't been with Epiphone for a long time. His signatures have been out of production for a while, which is a real shame because he had some great signature models. If you don't remember them, they were based on the Les Paul Artisan, which was a really ornate limited edition model Gibson made from about 1976 to 1982. They had these flower inlays on the fingerboard and the headstock. One of the color options was walnut, and that's what Malia's models were based on. They had a P94 in the neck, which is a humbucker size P90, and then an exclusive Gibson USA 84T LM bridge humbucker. The 84T was originally designed for Kramer to recreate Eddie Van Halen's tone, and then for his signature models, Lee Malia had it tweaked slightly for his sound. It's really hot, really crunchy, sounds really good. It's one of Gibson's best pickups. You know, this one, the Dirty Fingers, Adam Jones DC high gain. Gibson's best pickups are their super high output ones. But anyways, they started with a signature Les Paul Artisan. They then took that same theme and applied it to an Explorer. They added a dummy coil in the middle position, which you could get to through the rear of the body. And it was there, so if you split the bridge humbucker or went to the neck P94, you'd still get those sounds, but the dummy coil would eliminate the hum. Really cool feature. No idea why they haven't added that to more guitars. And then a little while later, they added an RD to the signature series. And I believe that's the only time that Epiphone have made an RD. I actually made a demo on it, and I called it the Artesian all video because I'm an idiot, but I loved that guitar. It's such a wacky shape Gibson only made for a few years around the 70s, and he brought it back with the Artisan theme, with the custom pickup set, with the dummy coil. I think it's the only time they made an RD with top binding too, and it was the coolest of the three. But as for his current endorsements, I don't think he's with any one brand right now. Like, if you watch Bring Me the Horizon live shows from this year, he is still using a couple of his signature Epiphones, generally for heavier songs like Happy Song and Shadow Moses, but he's also using Fenders, he's using a Relict Paletti Custom Jazzmaster, he's put one of the Gibson humbuckers and a neck P90 in, he's also using a Jackson V for certain songs, and I think where the rumor started is he's posted a couple times about the new American Series Soloist on Instagram. Apparently he's filmed stuff for the launch. Now, Jackson told me a couple of weeks ago that this would be their biggest launch event ever, and they were getting a bunch of big name artists involved, like Scott Ian, Misha Mansour. Obviously, they've already dropped a lot of launch content, and it looks like they filmed a bunch of follow-up content, including something with Lee Malia, that they'll release over time to keep the hype going. By the way, the comment section of the video that I dropped on launch day was wild. It was like a Jackson civil war. As an outsider coming from the world of Gibson and ESP, it was like, oh my god, what did I just step into? Jackson is such a hardcore fan base, and the American Series is definitely aimed at those hardcore Jackson fans. Like, if this slime green soloist isn't a completely Jackson-looking Jackson guitar, I don't know what is. Like, only a black or white Rhodes is more Jackson. So on one side, you had a lot of Jackson fans getting hyped, and on the other side, you had a lot of Jackson fans saying it was way overpriced, and it didn't have classic American Jackson visual cues like the Mother of Pearl logo, bound headstock, and Made in USA stamped on the front. You also had people wondering why it had a 1500 series Floyd, and in fairness, if they're gonna put original Floyd Roses on their $2,300-ish MJ series made in Japan, they should be putting it on their flagship American line too. So I'll be the first to tell you, I don't know shit about Floyd's. I punished the shit out of it on the American Series and it stayed in tune, but the comments had me curious, so I did a little bit of Googling about the difference between the originals and 1000 series tremolos. According to Floyd Rose, the design should be identical. The parts, metals, materials, all the same between the two. There's some confusion where there are people convinced the 1000 uses softer zinc alloy parts. That's not true. That's the lower level Floyd Rose Special, completely different. The difference is where they're made. The original is made in Germany, the 1000 is made in South Korea. What's actually interesting is if you try to buy any 1000 at retail from StewMac or wherever, it'll actually cost you more than the original. It's because the 1000 series are supposed to be OEM only models, they don't want them sold at retail. The 1000 series also has a lower profile version. It doesn't stick out of the body, so I actually think it kind of looks cleaner too. The one objective advantage the original seems to have is the part of the saddle that touches the string is slightly sharper on the 1000 series, which can lead to strings wearing quicker. But in that regard, Goto makes the best Floyd for that anyways. The saddles are really well-rounded and really comfortable. That's really the solution there. Put a Goto trem on it. They're already using Goto tuners. Now, the 1500 that they went with for the American series is slightly different than a 1000 series too. It's basically the same, but it's got upgraded stainless steel hardware and a push-in trem bar. Same as the Goto, same as Ibanez Edge. So I just wanted to share my findings with you guys because I found it interesting. I hope you enjoyed my Floyd Bros TED Talk, and all I can really share is my experience. I abused the out of the 1500 on the American series, especially during the million takes of trying to nail that solo, and it stayed in tune. But I get why people were upset. If this is supposed to be your flagship line and use the original Floyd Bros on other models, this one should have it too. But I enjoyed the guitar, it's really well built, and I don't even like Jackson's. Either way, $2,600 is a good amount of money, even for an American built neck through, and hopefully that means Jackson employees are getting paid a good living wage with good benefits. And I've shared your feedback with Jackson, especially about that headstock. Binding it, putting Made in USA on the front, and using a mother of pearl logo when all the inlays are mother of pearl shouldn't add too much to the cost of production, and making it look more like a classic USA Jackson would be great fan service to the hardcore Jackson faithful. So we'll see what happens there. But anyways, as for Lee Malia joining Jackson, I don't think that's happening. I would love for him to get a new signature model with someone, because I think that combination of high output humbucker, P90 neck, and dummy coil in the middle is something that we definitely need more of. Any production models will do at this point, but I think he's enjoying the independent life. Bring Me the Horizon are massive. It's like the most unlikely mainstream success story for a former deathcore band. I mean, they're playing awards shows with Ed Sheeran, for God's sake. You love to see it. And now he gets to play whatever he wants, whenever he wants. Seems like Lee Malia has a good working relationship with a lot of brands. You know, he's promoting the Jackson American Soloist launch, but if he goes full Jackson, or especially if he goes back to Gibson, they're probably going to have him sign something to exclusively use those guitars, and I don't know, I just don't think he wants to do that. You know what I do want to go back to though? The sponsor of today's video. Let's take a quick second and thank today's video sponsor, Ridge. If you've watched as much YouTube as I do, you've probably heard of them before and how they're redefining the wallet, because traditional wallets, they kind of suck. They're big, they're bulky, collect all sorts of useless stuff, and that just doesn't happen with Ridge. And they're not just a sponsor, this is the one that I use every day. I love the Ridge design. It's sleek, small form factor that can fit in your front pocket. The plate's made of aluminum, titanium, or carbon fiber, or RFID blocking to block scammers from stealing your information, and they're held together by a durable elastic band. And they aren't just dragging the wallet into the modern era, they're doing it to keychains too, with the key case. Basically, it's a wallet for your keys, and it's classic Ridge in design. Slim, lightweight, and durable. There are loads of colors to choose from to match your style, and they're always adding more. So if you want to see why so many people are switching over to Ridge Wallet and love it, head over to ridge.com/Agufish and use my code Agufish for 10% off and free shipping. Link will also be in the description. Of course, clicking that helps support the channel by letting them know that I sent you. Not only that, right now they're hosting a sweepstakes. You can win a custom-built Ford Bronco Velociraptor or $75,000 in cash. Obsessed with Baritone guitars asks, do you put the contents of a bottle in a cup with ice, or do you get frostbite shoving ice cubes into the opening of your bottle like the rest of us? What is wrong with you? Rob J asks, hey, have you seen the new Josh Smith soloist signature from Jackson? Evertune bare knuckle pickups, 27-inch scale length, 7-string for about €1,800, and that color. I heart emoji. Yeah, Josh Smith of Northlane has been teasing this model for months. He's been posting about it on Instagram, he's been road testing the prototype on tour, and it looks absolutely filthy. By the way, Northlane Josh Smith is not to be confused with Josh Smith, the blues rock virtuoso, who is also dropping a new signature model, but with Ibanez. You know, just in case there was some confusion between the two, we move. But let's talk specs, because I've given Jackson a lot of shit for not keeping up with their modern production guitars, and this is probably one of the coolest modern guitars dropping this year. It's one of the guitars I'm most excited for anyways, and as I said, generally, I don't even like Jackson's. So the Josh Smith signature is in this amazing dark surf green, roasted maple neck through construction with alder wings, ebony fingerboard with a compound 12 to 16-inch radius, no inlays, matching Fender headstock with the Jackson logo. It looks so f***ing clean. lumen lays to keep track of where you are. It's got a 27-inch baritone scale length, which is awesome. Locking tuners, Evertune, so no pitch drift, even with the stupid low tunings this guitar is capable of. And it's got his signature bare knuckle impulse set, humbucker in the bridge, single coil in the neck. So an HS 7-string 27-inch baritone with an Evertune and roasted maple neck through and in this color, f***ing wild. The only thing that stops it from being the perfect signature, in my opinion, is there are no stainless steel frets. This guitar is pure modern metal. It's screaming for stainless steel frets. Josh has said before he doesn't know how he feels about them and anything else besides Richlight. I have no idea why, but it's his signature. That pricing though. Made in South Korea, I'm guessing at World Music, Sweetwater has it listed at an eye-watering $2,700. That's more than the American series, which, as I've said, already caused a few raised eyebrows. And here's where I feel kind of bad for Josh Smith. Northlane are an incredible band. They're one of the most exciting sounds in modern metal, in my opinion. And he's been posting about this guitar because it's a huge moment for him. A Jackson signature model. That's a milestone for any guitar player. He's obviously hyped about it. 27-inch roasted maple neck through 7-string with Evertune and bare knuckles. There's nothing else on the production market like it. The only other 27-inch 7-string I'm aware of is the Steph Carpenter signature one. It is neck through, but it's not roasted maple. Doesn't have an Evertune or the bare knuckles, which are both really expensive, right? Because even though they're a relatively big name in the metal world, people tend to forget bare knuckle is still a very small company. Everything is custom built to order. And even Solar, which has the most comprehensive Evertune lineup, even they don't have a baritone 27-inch 7-string with an Evertune. And if they don't have it, nobody does. So Josh Smith's signature is a crazy guitar, and historic inflation is just f***ed with the hype. Like, a lot of the comments I've seen haven't even touched on how cool these specs are. They've just been like, oh, wow, this guitar is expensive, but a lot more rude. Welcome to the internet, Josh. In fairness, if you wanted a guitar with these specs, you'd have to get it made custom, and it would probably be more money because Evertunes and bare knuckles are not cheap, but still, $2,700 is a lot for a production model. And in his native Australia, that's like, what, 4 million Australian dollars, or however the conversion works. I don't know, y'all tend to get massively f***ed on pricing down under, and that was even before inflation. Actually, I was just talking to Andrew Baina about it, and he made one in the Balaguer configurator. Neither a bare knuckle neck nor roasted maple was an option, and it still came out to be about $2,700 before tax. But yeah, I kind of feel bad because it's such a sick guitar, and I'm still gonna try to get one because those specs in that color, this has got to be one of the coolest, if not the coolest guitar Jackson have ever made, in my humble core kid / modern metalcore opinion. But yeah, here's where I'll throw it to you. What do you think of the Jackson Josh Smith baritone signature? Who else is hyped? Who else is gonna try to get one? It seems like Jackson and Charvel have come out of hibernation because they are making some moves right now. Of course, the Jackson American series drops, but they also announced an absolutely wild and wacky shaped signature for Rob Cavestany of Death Angel. I apologize, Rob, I tried. And he's actually been playing this shape for a long time. He was inspired by Randy Rhoads, sketched this shape out on a napkin just like Randy did, and Jackson made him this custom shape. He's got a few of them with different colored bevels, and up until now, the shape has only been available through the custom shop. Also, roasted maple neck through just like the Josh Smith, but this one has mahogany wings, rosewood fingerboard with black binding and black shark fin inlays, and a blacked out logo, EMG 81 bridge, EMG HA neck, which is a single coil and a humbucker housing. Never seen that in a production model before. Floyd Rose Special tremolo, boo. If you're gonna use a special, in my opinion, you should at least do the hot rod thing that Schecter did on the Banshee GT and replace key parts with stainless steel. But overall, it's really cool that they're making a production version of a shape formerly only available from the custom shop. I mean, it's just very metal, isn't it? The shape really isn't my thing, but I kind of really like the black inlays and the black binding on the rosewood board. Personally, I'm more partial to Ted Aguilar's LTD signatures. They were kind of Arctic metal guitars before the Arctic metal series was a thing. But Death Angel fans, what do we think of this one? And then on the Charvel side, they've just announced a Phil Sgrosso signature. I'm sorry, Phil, I tried. This looks absolutely sick. SoCal Sal 1, which is their name for the Strat shape, in dark silver burst. Black anodized aluminum pickguard, so awesome. Love that the volume knob has been absolutely banished to its own little corner of the pickguard. The traditional volume knob placement on Strats is the absolute worst. It gets in the way of your pick and hand for palm mutes, so they've just gone, okay, get it the fuck out of here, and placed it the furthest it can possibly be. I love that. Lumen Lays, single Fishman Fluence Modern, and a Floyd Rose 1000. Then you've got classic Charvel features, bolt-on neck, compound 12 to 16-inch radius ebony fingerboard, jumbo frets. On the back, it sucks that they didn't silver burst it like on the front, but they've given it extra contours for comfort and accessibility, a battery compartment, and even a rear-mounted Strat jack. So actually a lot going on there. And as a finishing touch, they gave it the old school toothpaste Charvel logo. He's been road testing the prototype on tour, and he was using the guitar that went on to be the inspiration for this signature in the My Own Grave video. I thought it was sick then, like a Silverburst Strat with an ebony fingerboard and the Floyd. I mean, it was just so cool. It had me looking into a Silverburst parts caster of the Floyd for a little bit, but finding the right body was hard, so I'm absolutely stoked it's becoming a production model now. As I Lay Dying is a pretty divisive band, and not because of the music. And I gotta ask Ken Susi, because he was filling in as a touring member on this recent European run, but I think he's a permanent member now, which would mean that Tim and Phil are the only original members left. So that's a whole bit of show, but their last album is probably one of my favorite releases of the last 5 years. The choruses are massive, it's got epic riffage, epic guitar work, it's so well done. Speaking of which, I believe he's with Comparison now, but the Les Paul Shred the other guitarist Nick Hippa was using in the My Own Grave video absolutely needs a reissue. Black Les Paul Studio with chrome hardware, trapezoid inlays, a Floyd and ebony board. Actually, it was 2012, maybe they were using Rich Light at the time. Either way, so clean. Bring it back. Quick side rant, I was thinking about this when I was doing the Jackson video earlier this week. You know how Les Pauls have such a terrible reputation when it comes to tuning stability? But while I was absolutely abusing the wiggle stick on the American Soloist, no tuning issues whatsoever. Even if they're not using a Floyd, why not put a locking nut on Les Pauls? Besides that it's not the way that Gibson has always done it, like it's not how they did it in the 50s, which, let's not forget, was 70 years ago. Why not a bone locking nut or a tusk locking nut so you still get the feel and tone or whatever of a traditional nut, but you eliminate that sharp angle from the nut to the tuners that causes the tuning to go wacky sometimes. Might not look vintage correct, but if you don't have to retune that G string all the dang time, I don't know, just a thought. Anyways, wouldn't be a proper video on this channel unless Les Pauls were brought up at every possible opportunity. Main point, bring the Les Paul Shred back. But yeah, both Jackson and Charvel are doing some exciting things right now. On the Jackson side, the American Series American production models, Josh Smith's absolutely insane modern monster, Mike Stringer of Spirit Box if he gets his own signature. Then Charvel have the new Jim Root signatures. They just released Sean Long of While She Sleeps signature. Speaking of which, just finished the demo track for that one up. Sent it over to Sean Long. If he thinks it's not, we've been talking about him possibly throwing some guitar work on it like how Matt Hafey did for the Origins video. That'd be so sick. I love While She Sleeps. I had that guitar for months and kept starting over on the demo track. Like, I really wanted to do it justice, so I tried writing something really decent for it, which is why it took so long, but it's a sick guitar. I love the maple fingerboard and the yellow EMG. If Charvel isn't too mad at me for taking forever, I really want to see if I can demo the Phil Sgrosso model too, because man, since that My Own Grave video, I've been dying to play a Silverburst Strat with a Floyd, and the best way to describe that anodized pickguard is pure chef's kiss. But yeah, that's what's going on in the world of Jackson and Charvel. From the perspective of a modern core metal guy, this is probably the most exciting they've ever been. No Lee Malia, at least not anytime soon, but still, some solid signature drops. Here's where I'll throw it to you though. What do you think of the recent signatures? You love them, you hate them, who else do you think should get one? And which of them do you want to see demos of on the channel? Would love to get your thoughts. Now that we're getting to the end of the video, if for some reason you're not sick of my face, in case you missed it, this week I uploaded a demo of the aforementioned Jackson American Series Soloist. They're saying it's their first American production model in decades. Classic Jackson specs like neck through, Seymour Duncan pickups, so decided to write something super old school thrashy for it. Wiggly ass Kerry King solo with a ton of wah. Fun ass time. Then if you missed last week's ASKgufish, we talked about Mark Morton of Lamb of God officially joining Gibson, Mike Stringer of Spirit Box joining Jackson, what those signature models might look like and what it means for the future of both brands. Man, the Mark Morton Gibson signatures are gonna be epic. Link to both those videos in the cards and in the description. And that will do it for this episode of Ask-a-Fish. Massive shout out to the awesome patrons who make this and all the other content possible. If you want to support the channel as well and get bonus extras, link in the description. You can also join as a YouTube channel member. That's a nice way to leave a tip if you're enjoying the content. Social media, Discord, and affiliate links are in the description. As always, thank you so much for watching. You've been awesome, and I will see you for the next video.